Welcome to the Shrink Show.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
So I can't wait for you to listen to Yael T.W. She is a certified astrologist and went through the Deborah Silverman School of Astrology, correct? Yes. And holy moly, I was blown away at how she just knew my soul in the stars, which for anybody who has dabbled in some astrology, yes, we know this, but just to have it conveyed in another way is like, holy crap, this all makes so much sense. I think, you're going to want to get your own reading by the end of this. And I highly encourage you to, because Yael is amazing and just a beautiful soul herself. So please listen up and like, share, subscribe, reach out to her for service, and let us know what you think. Thanks.
So my name is Yael T.W. Like it stands for like a very long, complicated surname, so you don't want to hear that. Yael T.W. I am a Deborah Silverman certified astrologer. There are now like about 22, I think, certified astrologers worldwide by Deborah. I'm also a teacher at her school. I've been a full-time astrologer since 2019. Before that, I had like a 12 years career in finance. I was a certified public accountant, a CPA, and had a career in tech. And then I felt it wasn't my path. So I left and I wanted to write a book, but while I was writing the book, I took a yoga teacher training and I became a yoga teacher and a studio owner, a partner in a studio. And that completely took over. And I had so much passion for yoga and Buddhism for many years, even before that. So it was like, oh, I'm finally fulfilling my purpose. I'm doing what I came here to do. But still, it wasn't the exact thing. Like it felt like it's coming towards it, but it's not exactly that, because I really love the human psyche. I really loved psychology. I really love to understand people. I really love to talk. And yoga was more physical. And whenever it came to like understanding the body and anatomy, I was like, that didn't really interest me. So I then met Deborah Silverman in 2013 for an in-person reading. I met her through a friend and I completely fell in love. I knew astrology. I worked with astrology since I was a child, but it always seemed a little woo to me, or I was a CPA. So it was like a big jump to make to becoming an astrologer. And my family, they were like bankers and programmers and stuff. So it was like a little weird. Or too weird. But as soon as I met Deborah, I was like, okay, I can do that. This is what I came here to do, because she completely transformed my life. And I wanted to do it for other people too. So it took me a few years. Like just after I met her, I met my husband. I was 40. Okay. So it was like I was already 40 when I met her. And then I met my husband. We had a child. We moved to the States. I became an astrologer. I became a writer. And all my dreams started coming true. It's a real story, true story. I'm not exaggerating. I fell in love. Deborah always says like the whole purpose is to fall in love with our faith, to fall in love with ourselves. I completely fell in love with myself, with my faith, with my life. It's true. It's happening. I'm a living proof.
I love this. I love this so much. I'm so excited for your path. I'm also super excited because I feel like I've heard the name Deborah Silverman. Have you, Jamie? I feel like I know that name. I didn't know that there was a school. And when you say that there's only like 20 certified astrologers through her, I mean, she must really hand pick or be very diligent, or not diligent. What's the word I'm looking for?
very careful in her
particular,
selection. She nitpick us, and it's like, not nitpick, maybe it's not the right word, but she really like, she's very careful, and she listens to our readings. So we do readings. When she listens to the entire reading, she takes her time, and usually it's not even one reading, it's like 2 or even 3 readings that she listens. Before that, there is someone who reviews our reading. We submit readings, and we have to get like a certain mark to qualify to have her listen to our reading. So it's a long process. It is possible. People always get certified. Like we get like, I think every like year we get like 3-4 new certified people. So it is an option. It is potential. It's not something that you're like, you know, if you dream about that, if you want to pursue this, it's a great way, because as certified astrologers, we get clients through Deborah. So it's like you start a career and you already have work. So it's, I got certified after I already worked as an astrologer for like 3 years. But, you know, it's still, you get people who come through her, and you work with people from all over the world. And it's such a privilege. I'm so honored to be to have been selected to be in this amazing group of astrologers. Most of them are more experienced than I am, I admit. Yeah.
Well, I just have to say, I'm so honored to have you on here, because I'm a firm believer, and I always have been, you know, that the more you can know yourself, you know, which astrology has been something that's really helped me get to know myself, in addition to, you know, the Enneagram and human design, and, you know, all of those different avenues kind of give you a little extra piece of the puzzle. It really helps your mental health, your overall mental health, because you realize sometimes I do things because it's just in my nature, not because I'm trying to be difficult or I'm trying to be complicated or trying to upset people. It's just kind of who I am. And it's that refreshing thing of, okay, all right, just kind of like genetics. Like my nose is the way it is because it's just genetic. Like it's just who I am, right? I can change things, or I can be okay with it. So anyway, I'm excited. I want to hear more. Tell me about me and Jamie. And
So what you mentioned, maybe before I dive in, I just want to give like an overall explanation of what astrology, what is the purpose? Why do we go to have an astrology reading? So like you mentioned, some of the role of astrology is to give you permission slip to be yourself. Okay, you get acknowledged. You're like, okay, this is who I am, and that's fine. And I'm not going to apologize for who I am. Okay, this is one thing. The second thing is, for some people, you know, they think that astrology is deterministic. So it says like, okay, you are a Scorpio, so that means you're this and this, and you are a Taurus, so that means you're that and that. And that's not entirely true. So the chart is, first of all, it's a potential. Okay, it's a potential, and it has every position in the chart shows us a potential that you can take the low road off and you can take the high road off. So whichever you take is up to you. And this is why, you know, when people come to me, I don't assume that I know everything about them. I don't know what kind of work you have already done. You know, some people come and they've never seen any therapist in their life. They've never done any personal work, and they come to you, and then, you know, they're completely clueless, and then they have to start from the beginning. But some people come to me and they embody the high path of their chart, and maybe there is just like a little fine tuning that we need to understand. Okay, this is still not working in your life. Let's see. Okay, because I have a very challenging chart, and I've had a very challenging life. And it wasn't, and as I said, my life transformed around the time I was 40, and there is a reason for that. But I started to embody my gifts and understand my gifts later on in life because I did the work. And now I could transform the challenges we practice what we call esoteric astrology. And in our system, we see the challenges as wake up calls. Okay, so it's not about like, there is no doom and gloom. In our approach, the stars are always for you. The chart is always there for you. There is only the potential of like, how can I take, and this is how I help. So I try to understand what is not working, what doesn't work in your life. Where, some people it's like, I don't know, I'm stuck. I don't know. I don't do what I want to do. I don't have the relationship I want to have. And then we try to figure out, okay, where you're not in your high road, where you can, change your life and evolve. And I believe that, some people come to me and it's like, when will I find love? Or when will I find, what will happen in my career? When will I have success? And we do not tell the future. I do not foresee the future. I have absolutely no idea. And I don't believe in foreseeing the future, because I believe the future is in your hands. Because when you align with who you really are, each one of us has a different chart, right? Each one of us has a completely different, we're all super unique. There is no another person like you in the world. It's insane to think about it, right? So we each came to embody something. And when we are aligned with ourselves and we make the voice that we came to make in this world, and we fulfill the purpose for which we came to be in this world, then everything starts aligning for us. We start attracting the right people, the right circumstances into our life. It's not an easy work. It's not, okay, I'll just sit there and everything will start unfolding. No, it's sometimes we need to work with conditionings that have been, imprinted on us, and it's really hard to let them go, right? So I'm not, it's not like you come out of a session and you're finally transformed and it's like the magic and you see the stars and everything. No, you come out, but you know your direction and you know what you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. And the question is whether you're going to do the work or not. And that I cannot do for you.
It's so similar to therapy. The way you're describing this is, it's kind of like you're given like a self-help workbook, or like homework from a therapist, or permission to move forward on the path to obtain your dreams. But like you said, you have to be willing to put in the work, or it's not going to happen. I mean, I can have the best exercise plan, but if I don't get up and exercise, I'm not going to be the body that I want,
Exactly. So that's an important thing. So let's talk about your charts. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you mentioned, yes, you have your suns are in opposite signs. Okay. And they're actually really opposite, even in a degree. So Angie, you have Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Leo, and Aquarius rising. So when we look at and Jamie, you have your double Sag. You have rising and moon in Sag, and your sun is in Taurus. Okay. So when we look at our personality in astrology, we look first of all at the core personality. The core personality is consisted of the sun sign, the moon sign, and the rising sign. Okay. The sun sign is our personality, what we want in life, our willpower, what we want and how we obtain it, how other people perceive us, not necessarily in our career and not in our home, but more in our community and our friends. Okay. The moon represents our inner world, how we are when no one is watching, how we process our emotions, how we mother, how we are in intimate relationship, in long-term intimate relationships. And then the rising in our system is what we need to rise to. This is esoteric astrology. It means what our soul chose for us in this life. And they say that so some believe that the soul doesn't choose the birth date, but it chooses the birth time. And the birth time, so in every 24 hours, we have all the rising signs. So no matter when you're born, the soul can choose whichever sign it wants for a rising. Okay, because there are all the signs on the rising, on the horizon. It's the constellation that was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth, and it changes every 2 hours. And you can choose. So no matter what, so you were born Angie, November 18, 1981, and on this day, your soul could have chosen any other time of birth that would give you any other one of the 12 signs, but it chose Aquarius. Okay, so this is a big deal. The rising is a big deal, especially for people who want to embody their soul, who want to be connected with their soul. Okay, so let's see how it works. Okay, so for example, for Angie, you have Sun in Scorpio, and you have Uranus on your Sun as well, which is also interesting. But the Sun in Scorpio is about going deep. Okay, Scorpio is a very, very deep sign. It's very intense. It's all about understanding the human psychology. Okay, it's very, very, and it's not about it's a very acute psychic ability. Like you read between the lines. You understand the unspoken. You don't need people to tell you. You immediately feel, you sense energies, right? And you look for meaning. And especially for you, it's a very interesting combination that you have here. You have the Sun in Scorpio in the 9th house. So on top of the signs, we also have the chart is divided into 12 pieces of cakes that are the houses. And the 9th house is connected to Sagittarius, which is Jamie's moon and rising. Okay, so in your personality, you have some Sagittarius in you. So it's not just Scorpio, and the combination of Scorpio and Sagittarius, you look surprised. You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Okay. So
that it was in the 9th house?
Yeah. The 9th.
No. Well, the houses is not, I'm familiar with the houses, and if I look them up, it kind of makes sense, but that's one of those that I haven't dived deep into that, nor did I recognize that a house represents a sign, but it makes sense because Scorpio represents the 11th house, right? Because it's the 8th, because it's the death sign.
I don't like to call it the death sign.
Sorry,
that's not like the death sign because it's scary for people, and it's not true also because it's a very, I see it as a very alive. Actually, Scorpio love life. They love to be in the human. They love the human experience. I want to be in my body. I want to feel everything. It's like it's this feeling of on like, and you're rising. The Aquarius is like, I'm not from here. I don't like so much to be in a body. I'm more detached. I look at things from the outside. And you also have it in your personality very strong because Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is on your Sun. So in your Sun, just looking at your Sun and your personality, we already know that you're a very complex person, right? Because you have, I wouldn't call it death, but Scorpio is more like a dark dweller. Okay, it's like the mystery, it's the night, it's going to its dream world, it's going deep to the underground world where you understand the true meaning of being a human. And then you have this Sagittarius, which is like, I'm optimistic. Okay, this is Angie, this is your rising and your moon. And by the way, you have Uranus on your rising.
Wait, do you mean Jamie?
I meant Jamie, yes. So Jamie, the Sagittarius part is very light and optimistic and want to expand. It's a lot about expansion. I want to know everything about everything. I want to learn. I want to travel the world and see other places and learn from new cultures. And it's ruled by Jupiter, the biggest planet in the solar system. So it's all about expansion. And the worldview, right? The worldview is very big. Like you have a very big concept of what it means to be human. And it's also a very spiritual sign in the sense we call it a transpersonal sign. So it's a sign that deals with what it means to be a human in the world. Okay, it's more like understanding the relationship between human and universe. Does it speak to you?
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Oh my God, what's really funny, Yael, is Jamie and I were talking the other day, and she was like, I just want to know everything. I want all of the information. I just want it all. And so as you were talking, I'm laughing because, yeah, she does. She wants to know all the things.
Everything that you have just said, I'm pretty sure I've said out loud to someone in my life at some point. I'm like, yes, I want to see it all. I want to know it all.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
And you also want to teach it all. You want to teach it.
Because I know everything. So I'm like, here, see, I figured it out.
Yeah. You're an eternal teacher, an eternal student. You want to learn and you want to teach from your own experience. And this is something you say you want to know it all, but it's not about, unlike Geminis, for example. So Geminis thrive from external information. They really want to know all. But Sagittarius, you learn information, but eventually you're very tuned to your inner voice. It's like you do an alchemy with all the information that you get, and then you teach it to other people through your own life experience.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay. So going back to you, Angie, so you have the sun in Scorpio. It's like this deep energy that wants to really feel all the heaviness and all the hardship. But then you also have this like very optimistic, wide perspective that can be a little detached. So I would assume, and then it's the same, your rising is in Aquarius, and you have Uranus on your sun. Uranus rules Aquarius, okay? And Jamie also have Uranus on her ascendant. So you both have very strong Aquarian energy. And Aquarian energy, when we talk about Uranian or Aquarian energy, first of all, it's about astrology. Because Uranus rules astrology. Uranus and Aquarius are all about esoteric knowledge. It's about being scientific, being research, wanting to understand things, learn things, and but it's very advanced, very out of the box. Okay, so it's just like watching you. You're so weird, right? Like you're weird, you're funny, you're like, you bring something new to like the way you do things. It's so advanced. It's like you're telling a new story just from watching the opening of your show. It's awesome. It's and you bring, it's like this, we're not here to follow others. We're here to do us. We're here to be special, unique, and change the story. We want to bring new awareness, new consciousness into the world.
I just got goosebumps. That's exactly it, is wanting to reframe and wanting to, bring that new story. Like that's 100%.
Yeah. Yes. And then, so your sun is in, as we said, is in Scorpio in the 9th house. And Angie, and Jamie has Sun in Taurus in the 5th house. So Taurus is about beauty. It's about slow and steady. It's a very sensual sign. So it's, I want to understand the world. So this is what connects it actually. So when sign, you have your suns are opposite each other. So when signs are opposite each other, they always have something in common and something in conflict, but it's a conflict that we can have a dialogue and we can bring it to a healthy medium or a healthy balance. So I'm sure like in your relationship, sometimes, like you have the mutual qualities and sometimes it's like one of you is pulling there and one of you is pulling there, but you can always, because you have a very strong friendship, this is from your mutual charts, you have a very, very, very strong friendship. And you also are very, like your charts, I'm just running ahead, but you light each other in the 10th house. The 10th house is the house of career, which means you came here to be friends and to work together.
Wow,
Goosebumps again.
Crazy.
It's crazy, but this is it's written in the stars. I'm
Seriously,
serious.
goosebumps all over my body. Like,
and I love that you said that our signs are opposite, because we always bring up how opposite we are. We're like, oh, we have opposite in like our numerology, and we have opposite in our personality, and yeah.
But the opposite, so both Taurus and Scorpio are very sensual. It's all about physical. It's all about being in the body. It's all about experiencing the world through the senses. Okay, loving food, good wine, like appreciating the beauty around us. We want to experience the world through our body. Okay, so these are very sexual as well. So this connects Scorpio and Taurus. Where they differ is that Taurus wants simplicity. It wants stability. It doesn't like changes and transformation so much. However, you're not a typical Taurus, and no one is, okay? Because as we said, like you're not a typical Scorpio, because you have Uranus on your sun, okay? And because you have in the 9th house, you have Sun in the 5th house, which brings Leo qualities. And Leo is Angie's moon. Okay, so the 5th house is all about passion and creativity, and so it's a very Leo and Taurus, 5th house and Taurus. First of all, super creative. Are you creative?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you that you are creative.
She's extremely creative. I don't know why she says, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, well, if you look at, even just everything that you do with your work and everything you do with your wedding, you're creative in your planning. Like, I think you're thinking creative in the sense of you can paint
art,
or
and I can't do art.
Right, but creativity is so much more than art.
I can do things on the fly, though. Yeah, like I can improv you a hypnosis script if you need or something. That's fine.
See?
Yeah.
Were you part of creating this podcast?
Yeah.
Hello?
I just came for the drinks. That's really it.
She's extremely creative.
Okay, please know that about yourself, okay? You are very creative, okay? You're very creative, and actually, even in your career, you're called for creativity because your midheaven, your career is in Libra, which is also super creative. And it's creativity that is very, so Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus. Okay, Venus, the goddess of beauty. So it's a very Venetian type of creativity. It's about you're here to bring harmony. You're here to bring peace. This is something you're very passionate about, right?
Yeah.
to bring it so to everyone will be, you want everyone to be well, everyone to be happy. This is very strong for you. And you, Angie, your midheaven is in Sagittarius. Okay, Jamie's moon and rising. Okay, so your career is about traveling the world and seeing and getting the big picture and teaching and learning all of these things that are Jamie's soul's choice are your career.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, I am supposed to be traveling. I knew it.
You are definitely.
Create your itinerary for all of your family vacations.
I need more money to do this.
But it's not, traveling can also be internal. So it's about going to, like, taking journeys. It can be even inside, it can be through connecting with communities and people from all over the world. Now we have all the technology, what you're doing right now in your podcast, hosting people, getting all these like pieces of information, understanding different tools and different ways to work with understanding what we came here to do, who we are, what we are. It's like these questions, they're very, and there are signs of you both, you need a lot of freedom. A lot of freedom in your life. Did you say you were getting married? Are you planning a wedding, Jamie?
No. I like to plan anything that involves an itinerary.
Okay.
Or if it doesn't, I will create one for you. It all just makes sense. I like to call it structured fun. It contains the fun.
Yeah.
Like fun together.
So you're not in relationships? Or
We're
are you
both married.
Sorry?
We're both married.
You're married. You're in your relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you need a lot of freedom in your relationships. Like, you're very free-spirited people. Okay.
Yes.
You do need, with moon in Leo, for sure, your moon is in the Angie is in the 7th house, which means you do need marriage. Marriage is very important for you. Moon is your how you process emotions, how you relate. You need someone with you to reflect. You're very, very relationship oriented. And with the Leo side brings all this passion and romance. Like, you really need romance in your relationship. You need romance, and you do that. You need that too, Jamie, because your sun is in the 5th house. So you need everything you do. You cannot do anything just, because you need to make money. Everything you do needs to be something you have passion for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for you, Angie, it's very interesting because you have, so in your core personality, you have Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And there is something that unites the 3 signs. They're all fixed signs. You know that. So
I do. And I always kind of joke. I'm like, is this what makes me so stubborn?
Yes.
Can you define what fixed signs mean?
Yes. So fixed signs, it means, so there are 3 types of signs. Okay. There are the cardinal signs, fixed signs, and mutable signs. Okay. Fixed signs are those that hold the fort. Okay. They are the maintainers of energy. These are the people who can hold stability. And Taurus is also fixed sign. Okay. So these are the four fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Okay. So they're very purposeful and determined and stubborn, and it's hard for them to change. Okay. Because they're here to maintain stability. Then we have the cardinal signs that are Aries, Libra, and Capricorn. I forgot Cancer. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And they are initiator. They initiate energy. They can be very masculine or like very goal oriented. Okay, they're here to get somewhere, to do somewhere. You know, it's a very initiative, creating energy. And then we have the mutable signs that are Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, that are all about changing. They're very personable, they're very changeable, very adaptable. It's very easy for them to change. They need a lot of changes. Okay, so like sometimes people who have a lot of mutable, they will be like, you know, moving all the time from one place to another, not being able to find like stability. People who have too much fixed energy can be like, you know, they're stuck, they can't move. And people who have cardinal energy tend to burn out. They're so much into like, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to create and I need to do this. And then it's like, okay, I don't have energy anymore. Right? So when you have what you have, Angie, is called a T-square between your moon, your sun, and your rising. And the tension in your chart releases, guess where? In Taurus, which is...
Hi, that's me. Yeah.
So what does that mean? When my tension releases in Taurus?
So when we have a T-square, so we have 3 planets, or in your case, it's sun, moon, and rising. So these are the core, your core personality creates a T-square. And as we said, it's tension, okay? It's a challenge, but it's a wake-up call. We don't see it as a bad thing. It wakes you up. It forces you. You're not a person who can sleep through life. You cannot sleep through the movie, you know, and just, you know, do something for your job, make money, go to sleep, get up. You know, it's not you, right? Everything you do has to have a meaning. You have, and you had challenges in your life.
Yes.
Your chart indicates that you had a great deal, a great chunk of challenges in your life. Your life hasn't been easy, but there is a purpose for it. Okay. There is a purpose for the hardship that you endured. And the purpose is that you came here to teach us how we can deal with these challenges, right?
Shut the front door. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You didn't know that.
I did know that, but I knew it.
The way
I
you
didn't know
described it. Yeah.
That's what I'm drawn to do, right? Is to help people walk through their shadows, because I had to figure out how to walk through mine. And I know it's not easy. And so that's kind of part of what we're doing here, is talking about mental health. And a part of why I am, you know, so vulnerable with what I'm experiencing in this podcast, because I want people often don't see me as somebody who's gone through difficult times, or somebody who is vulnerable, or somebody who, they see me as somebody completely opposite of that, which fascinates me. But anyway, so the way you said it was like, yeah, that makes sense. 100%.
Yeah. Great. But when I said, so this has nothing to do with the release point. The release point, so when we have a T-square, the release of the tension that the square creates is always in the fourth part of we have four signs in each type. Okay, so we said fixed signs. We have 4 signs that are fixed, and you have Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So the missing part is Taurus. And when you go to Taurus, which means you slow down, you relax, you watch the sunset, you smell the flowers, you walk on Mother Earth, you kiss it with your feet, you walk in nature, you do all these things that are very Taurus in nature. Okay, Taurus is all about embracing Mother Earth, connecting with Mother Earth, taking it slow, not rushing, understanding the high road of Taurus. Taurus is a lot about self-value. Okay, it's the question, it's the Venusian question of like, what is my worth? And that's a question that people ask themselves a lot. And Taurus in the low road, and as I said, there is always a low road and high road, there is a lot of insecurity. Okay, like I have to justify myself constantly. I have to do something, but I'm too slow and I hate it. Okay, does it sound familiar, Jamie, from your past maybe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the high road is I understand that I'm a divine being. I'm here. I don't have to justify my being. I don't have to fill my calendar with meetings and things constantly. Mm-hmm. I can take a break. I can just breathe. I can just enjoy, right? I don't have to justify myself. That's a big thing for most of us, I think. And Taurus in the high road can get there. Okay, they said a Buddha was a Taurus. Okay, what does it take to leave everything and go and sit in the forest and meditate? You know, it's like, what are you doing? You need to go to do something, justify yourself. No, I'm sitting here. I'm going to reach enlightenment. Right? It was insane. But now he's like the most famous spiritual being ever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, it's this type of like understanding that by sitting to a meditation, we actually do a lot. And even like that we don't need to do all the time, that you can just be.
Oh my God. Recently, my toddler has been acting out at daycare. I quit my job a couple months ago to really focus on my own career stuff moving forward. And I have been struggling to move forward with that. And I just had to make the decision to stay home with my toddler and just be. And it's funny because at different times in my life, I've gotten that message, just be. And when you were talking about the Taurian energy, I'm like, that's exactly what the universe is forcing me to do right now, is watch the sunset, sit in the silence and not have an agenda and not be moving forward. And it's hard for me. It's good. And I understand it's what I need to do, but it's very difficult for me because I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing.
Exactly.
Well, and as her like fellow Taurus friend, I'm like, Angie, come hang out with me. Come like do stuff with me and my toddler. It's so easy to have like Wednesday off. And Angie's like, what? Like, okay. She's like, I have time now, but I'm like, come on. I'm already doing it. Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, exactly. We all need a Taurus in our life. That's true. We all need a Taurus in our life.
We all need a Jamie.
And for you, Angie, you're also in a cycle. So another thing we learned from astrology is not only our... Sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was saying, of course I'm in a cycle. Because numerologically, I'm also...
It's a clinical year. Yeah.
We're all in cycles all the time. Okay. We're all in cycles. And, you know, so another thing we learned from astrology is not only our personality, we also learn about where we are right now. Okay. So, you know, like to understand that you're, for example, right now in an Aquarius cycle. It's ending very soon, about 4 months. You're going to enter Pisces. And in this cycle, you might feel a little more detached. You might not feel it because you already are there like about 2 years. It started about 2 years ago. But it is a time where you might feel suddenly like you don't feel the passion that you used to feel. You don't feel emotions, the same like intensity that you used to feel. And it's weird when you will enter Pisces, you might suddenly start crying a lot and you're like, oh my God, I was so disconnected. Now I feel my feelings. You know, you will feel the shift. You'll call me and you'll tell me, yeah, you're right. I'm telling you, this is crazy. The progressed moon cycles, it's insane how correct they are. I always love to give the example of my dear husband. He since I met him, he used to wear like really, didn't care about how he dressed up. Okay, he just wore one shirt, for eternity, even when it had like tons of holes. And I would tell him like, this is not respectable. You have to change your shirt. I'm going to throw it to the garbage. He didn't care. And then suddenly one day he went and ordered like new clothes online. And it was like, from nice fabrics and nice colors. And I went like, what is going on? And I went and I checked his chart, and it's like, on that day that he got the package, he entered the Leo cycle. And Leo is all about getting dressed and colors, and it was insane. It's the same day. It was like, it's incredible. And I get to hear like people call me, and it's like, you mentioned that I'm going to move from Cancer to like. I totally feel like it's incredible. So you'll feel that, and you'll call me in 4 months. But right now is an amazing time for you to be strategic. This is the detachment helps us plan ahead. We're not emotional about it. We can really assess. Aquarius is brilliant. Okay, it's brilliant energy, and you have that. Okay, so because Uranus is on your sun, so it's about, where do I want to be in 3 years? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And how do I get there? And you make this vision board, and you start and you make task lists. Okay, and when you will enter Pisces, it might not necessarily be the time to really start acting, because Pisces is a little withdrawn. Okay, it is a sign where you would want to be more meditating, more in peace a little. You would still want, like, it will be very creative. You can start writing ideas. You can start writing a book. You can start writing poems. Are you starting to write a book?
Yes, there's a lot of things I want to write. Like I want to write a book. I want to write a musical. There's a ton of things. And it's interesting because, again, with this pause, I was thinking, well, that's something I could potentially just kind of start doing because I've got time.
Exactly. So that's incredible. That's really, really, really great. This you're going to enter in 4 months. About 4 months, you're going to enter this Pisces. So now in these 4 months, you make a grand plan. Okay, am I going to write a book, or am I going to write a musical? Okay, you can't do both. Okay, you need to make a choice there. So where am I going to put my energy? And then when Pisces comes and you start like crying, you take the computer and you start writing from your heart.
Well, it makes sense because the book I'm writing is my memoir, so it's going to make me cry.
Exactly. And Jamie is right now in an Aries cycle, and actually you have the progress moon is right on your childhood. This is a very potent time of working on childhood wounds for you and unfolding everything from your childhood, your home life, like really making sense of it. But it's also about initiating new beginnings, starting anew. How does it speak to you?
I don't know. I'm listening and I'm like, Angie's made so much sense. And I'm like,
You have been doing a ton of work on wanting to heal everybody else's inner child right now.
But did we say that we're not sure about your time?
Yeah, my time's not 1,000% accurate because I'm adopted and it's closed records. So we just did muscle testing to determine the time. And also when we were emailing back and forth about my location, like, records aren't 100% accurate either about like where I was born, and it's a really small town. So I'm not even sure if there's a hospital in that town. And I tried to Google it, and Google isn't helpful. Yeah. So I also was just like, I don't even know if that's where I was born, but that's where my records are written down to say. So it's not 100% accurate.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it's not your right time, because you're like a little, like while Angie's like, yeah, right. It's like, you're like, not sure, not, so usually when this is because astrology works, and, like usually the response is more like on the Angie part of it. Right. So I would consider, we have someone on our team that I do not know how to do it, but she knows how to retrieve birth information through working on your history. She asks you questions about certain times in your life, and she knows to figure it out. She's very, very good at that. So
yeah, I want that. That would be great. Because I always get really irritated at how I can't ever get a full astrological reading, because while I know my birth country and city, I don't know that that's correct, because I have a lot of adoptee friends who learn later in life that their records are incorrect, or their birthday altogether is incorrect, or birth year, and we don't get birth time because that would be too much information to disclose to somebody. So yeah, so it's kind of, so I always am just like, I know my sun sign. Yeah. And then that's the end of my sentence, because I'm like, I'm not really 100% on location nor time.
Yeah, you also, you are probably safe to believe that your moon is in Sag. There are things we know. You can know where the planets were. You know that your Mercury is in Gemini, which makes you brilliant, fast, sharp. You get everything like on the spot. You don't need anything to be explained to you twice. Okay. We know that your Mars is in Gemini. So we know that you act, you love to network, you love to socialize. It's like, if for you, socializing, like you say, you call Angie and you're like, let's hang out. For you, it's important. For you, this is how you operate in the world. You express yourself. She's so focused. She has like all this Scorpio energy, and she's like, I need to do that. I need to achieve that. This is Scorpio is very, very goal oriented. It's very strong energy. Like, I don't have time to drink coffee, and you have Mercury and Mars in Gemini. That's a lot of Gemini. These are two very important planets in Gemini. So we can tell you a lot about your chart, even without the houses and even without, but it does, like understanding the house. You might not, I told you fifth house, and you're like, I don't know, I'm not so creative. Maybe you don't have sun in the fifth house. Maybe it's maybe it's something else. So maybe you don't have Sag rising. That the rising, the houses and the time, maybe it's important to say that so everyone knows that. So we can see the chart. What is the chart? The chart is basically the picture of the sky at the moment of your birth. Okay, where the planets were at the moment of your birth. And we call the sun and the moon planets. They're not planets, we know that, okay? But for the simplicity in astrology, we call all of them planets. We look at 10 planets and we see where, in what sign they were at the moment of your birth. This is the chart. Then we go and see what constellation was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. And for that, we need the time, the exact time. Mm-hmm. Because as I said, in each day, we can have all the rising signs. So the birth time sets the rising, and from there, the houses begin. Okay, and it's like a little bit more complicated, but we won't get into all the complexity. But this is, so when we don't know the time, we don't know the rising, and we don't know the houses.
Okay.
Okay, but we still know the planets. So we can tell you a lot about your chart, but there will be a very big missing because the houses are so important. Just, I know that Angie had a harsh life because you have 4 planets in the 8th house. And this is more Scorpio energy, okay? And the 8th house is a house of sometimes heavy karma. Deborah has her sun in the 8th house. You have sun in the 9th house, so it gives you a relief. Okay, but it is a house of healing wounds, of healing trauma. It's usually people with four planets, and when we have 3 or more planets in one house, it's a very dominant house because we only have 10 planets. Okay, and it means that there is your life, Angie, is a lot about working with trauma and healing, and that's yeah.
I mean, that was literally my entire life.
That sums it up. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. 8th house. And maybe I should name my memoir four planets in the 8th house.
Yeah, we call it a stellium, or you can just call it the 8th house. There are the houses are super. I have 4 planets in the 12th house. This is the very spiritual house. This is the house of Pisces. Okay, so it's like it's again, it has its challenges. It has some hidden parts of you. This is why it took me a long time. It takes a long time until you understand what you came here to do, or you learn to separate your energy from other people's energy, because you get to be, like there is a tendency for escapism. You remember how it is to be a soul, and you just want to be a soul. This is, for example, a sign or a house that doesn't like to be in the body. Okay, they're like, I just want to return to being a soul. I don't know what I'm doing here. And it took me 40 years to learn to like, okay, I love to be in this body. I love this life. I'm so grateful to be here.
Oh,
God, that's interesting. Oh my gosh, this is all like, there's so much. There's so much. Oh my God. I just need to know, what do I need to do? What do I need to just be? That's what I need to do. I need to just
no,
just listen to what I tell you to do.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you came here. You need to know how to rest and relax for sure. But you came here to be a teacher. You came here to be a writer. Sagittarius midheaven. So when we look at but you came here to teach and to write for the benefit of all.
God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's Sag. Wow. And by the way, I'm also writing a book. Did you know that? Did you get that from my?
You did say that. What is it about?
So my book is called Planetary Balance for a Wholesome Life. And it came through so as an astrologer, I'm meeting hundreds of people from various backgrounds. I read their charts and I see that I started noticing that there are some themes that repeat for almost all of us. So like most of us have a hard time connecting to what we truly want. We think that what we want sometimes is not spiritual, it's not worthy, it's not important. Like we were raised to be modest or not to admit that we want to be famous or recognized, or it's not spiritual to want these things. So many of us have challenges accepting what we want. This is, for example, sun energy. Sun is all about the ego. It's what we want. There is a lot of misconception about the ego and it's important and how to be a healthy ego. You can't come from the therapeutic world that understands the importance of ego, but people who have studied Buddhism for many years, and most of the spiritual jargon that we use today is taken for Buddhism, there is the concept of selflessness and no self, and there is a lot of confusion around there. So this is, how, for example, like a theme that I started seeing repeating for people. Another theme was, how do I process my emotions? Many people process our emotions. We think about them, we talk about them, sometimes we cry them, but we don't really go and feel them, which is crazy, and so this is another repeating theme. There's so many. It's just like every, we have a tendency for negative thoughts. We have a tendency to not appreciate yourself and not being authentic in our relationship. This is a Venus thing. Mercury is about the negative thought. Jupiter talks about our belief systems. Many of us have beliefs that don't support us, that don't serve us well. So these are repeating themes that I started noticing. And I started noticing that sometimes it doesn't matter where your moon is. Your moon can be in Leo, for example, and you can be super emotional intelligent. Or your moon can be in Cancer, which is the sign of emotional connectedness. And you can be frozen because in your childhood, you were not, your emotionalness or your emotional connection was not appreciated. And you were so sensitive that you froze. So even though the chart shows us a lot of our potential, at the end of the day, there are things that we all need to understand and learn, right? And most of us need to work with. And even if, for example, you and G have such a strong Plutonian energy in your chart, this is the Scorpio in the 8th house, okay? You're like, Pluto is the king of your chart. Okay, this is all about transformation and meaning and healing. Okay, so even people who don't have strong Pluto in their chart, they will get to the Scorpio, they will enter Scorpio cycle at one point or another, and they will have to deal with this energy. Okay, and if they're not ready, it will be hard. Okay.
I was just gonna say, so it makes sense for it, since I have that so strong in there, why I would have gone through the things that I've gone through so that I can then teach, so that when they enter into that energy, they are better prepared.
It's not, Pluto is so important. People don't understand it. I think Pluto is one of the most important planets and so powerful, because Pluto is the part that we all want to ignore. It's our darkest side. Okay. Yeah. And we all, especially in the spiritual community that I work with, we all want to believe that we're so good and we just want peace and we just want harmony and we want all beings to be happy and free. But inside of us, it's not always what we truly want and feel. And sometimes we feel anger, sometimes we feel hatred, sometimes we feel longing, sometimes, like we have all these, desires for things that we are not willing to admit. Sometimes we want money or we want something luxurious that we're like, and then, these are the dark parts of us that most of the time, or these feelings and these thoughts, we're just like, we like to nah, I didn't want that. I didn't think that. I didn't feel that, right? It's like, no, peace, love. But when we really know to go to these places and to admit, you know what? I felt that right now. I thought that right now. And it's disgusting. I really don't like that. This is the thought that came through my mind. That you're willing to acknowledge, this is Pluto. And you know what it gets? When you're willing to be in this place and you look at life in the eye, then you become empowered. And you can get whatever you want and you can do whatever you want because you're aligned with this is authenticity. This is your true self. Yes, exactly. But it's hard to get there. And we need to peel lots of layers. And this is why Pluto is the furthest away from the sun. It's the last planet in my book because it's the furthest away from the sun. Okay, it's the hardest, the last work. After you peeled all the layers, you connected with your wands and you connected with your feelings and you connected with your feminine side and with your masculine side and with your belief and your belief system and with your body and your discipline, all these processes and with your observer. Okay. All of these, then you can go and you can do the Plutonian work that you were assigned to. That is so powerful.
This must be the reason why I was so pissed when they tried to take away Pluto as a planet. I was like, no, Don't you dare. Pluto deserves to be seen.
You know, my teacher is like that too. She's like, what the why did who decided? And there is this great children book that was written. It's called A Place for Pluto. It's one of my favorite. I don't remember the author, but please get this book, A Place for Pluto. And it tells the story of Pluto and how, you know, they told it that he's not a planet anymore, and he's looking around the world and he's looking for his friends and his place. And it's such a beautiful book. I read it.
Oh, it looks so cute, and I love it. Yeah, and I love it so much. I know we're getting close to the time, and I just personally want to make another appointment with you. Yeah, because I want to dive into everything. But I had recently someone convey the message. One of her colleagues was listening to our show and made the comment that, you know, Angie's not very grounded, is she? Now, I can tell you in that message, I went a couple places. One, I went, ew, oh, am I not grounded? But
What?
I am. I know, but
you didn't know.
I know this person. Hold up. Yeah, I know. I need the Taurian energy. But this person, you know, from what I was told, you know, is really into the spiritual side, spiritual stuff. So I hear it in two ways. One, obviously, the groundedness from the Taurian. Two, I think sometimes people who are the most uncomfortable with what I like to call my hot messness or my vulnerability it's the Plutonian energy that they are uncomfortable with, right? Because if you're uncomfortable looking at your own or looking at my shadow, you're uncomfortable looking at your shadow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like,
you're looking at my chart like you're trying to find the grounded.
I'm trying to see, no, what I see, you know, Earth is not your strongest suit, but you do have two planets. You have Venus and Mars. Venus is in Capricorn and Mars is in Virgo. So you do have some Earth. It's not that you don't have Earth at all. And the callings, I look at the callings in your chart. So yes, there is the calling to release the tension in Taurus. But other than that, you're here to learn more about, you know, the what we talked about, the emotional world, the trauma, relationships, learning to be authentic in your relationships, learning to shine, to be center stage. These are messages that you need. You're not called so much to learn Earth. I don't feel like this is the, you know, there is some point that, you know, like as we said, you need to slow down sometimes, but it's not the calling of your chart.
So are the earth signs Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo?
Yes, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo.
That's so funny because I have surrounded myself with Taurus, a lot of Taurus folks, but my grandmother was a Capricorn and my mom was a Virgo.
You love Capricorns because your Venus is in Capricorn, so you're attracted to Capricorn. And Mars in Virgo means that the way you act, Mars represents how we act, how we obtain. You're very you're very systematic. You're very organized in things that you do. Are you? Not so much?
Well, I would like to say I am, but it never appears that way to anybody.
But you are. That's the important thing. It doesn't matter how it appears to other people. You know, it's like some people, they have their own mess and they understand their mess. You have when you need to find something, do you know where to find it?
Usually, yes. Yeah. Unless somebody moves it.
Yeah. But if you know, so yeah. So it's like you know how to take care of your body, you know how to take care of your nutrition, like you know how to take care of others. And work is very important for you. You're very, like, Mars in, you said you just want to work. It's hard for you not to work. Mars in Virgo. Virgo is all about work. I need to be in service. I need to do something. It's like this anxiousness energy. Okay. While Jamie, her Mars is in Gemini. She's like, let's go for coffee. It's also in the 6th house, which is also Virgo-ish. Okay. So again, we don't know if the houses are true for you, right? So we're not sure, but it's in Gemini. Yeah. So we know that she likes to network. She likes to socialize. For her, meeting you for coffee is essential part of how she expresses herself in the world. This is what inspires her. This is how she gets her new ideas, through her conversations with people. This is how she acts, like she increases her network. She gets to clients through meetings with friends, and gets ideas about workshops and things and what to do, right?
Right. Oh, and that makes so much sense, because then in another, science, my love language is time. I could just sit and talk with anyone. And so that is definitely not Angie's, but I'd be like, oh, I just want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
I love this. I love all of this. And I think this would be so healing for so many people, even just looking at, and I've had to come to my own realization of the hardships in my life were to get me on the path of my purpose. But for somebody who doesn't know that, even just to have you confirm, that this was built in, like your soul chose this time and chose these difficulties to advance, your purpose. That could be so healing for so many. And so I do want to respect your time. How can people find you, and I guess what kind of services would you recommend for somebody who is looking for these answers, whether they're somebody who's, maybe a little familiar and has flirted with astrology, or somebody who really doesn't know hardly anything? Like, what does that look like? What services do you offer?
Okay, great. So first of all, if you want to find me, I have a website. It's Yael, my name, Yael, astrology.com. And right now there is a freebie, a really awesome freebie. When you sign up for my newsletter, it tells you all about your moon sign. What does it mean to have your moon sign? How do you process emotions? What are your emotional needs? And how to get to the high road of your moon sign. And it says so much about us. So you can sign up, and I send every week a free newsletter with updates on what's going on in the sky and how to work with the energies to grow and evolve through them. The second place where you can find me is on Instagram. It's yael.astrology. And there I publish a lot of photos from our amazing hikes here in Asheville. I love to take photos of mushrooms and flowers and all the beautiful, beautiful nature that is here. And also, of course, my astrology updates and my podcasts and everything, you'll find it there. And the process. So first of all, people can come to me. There is a way on my website, you can schedule a free 10-minute session. If you're not sure what type of reading you want to get impression, like who am I, what you can gain, share a little bit, what is your issue, we can do this free 10-minute session. And then you can schedule your reading. There is the first reading, there is a follow-up reading, so we can continue working together. There are also, like, after you do the first reading, there are lots of options for you. You can just, you can come for an update just to understand what are your current influences. You can come every year. You can do a follow-up if you want to dive into something that we didn't have time to process enough in the first session, or you did some work and you want to understand how to continue from there. So we can do that. I also have focused sessions of what's your purpose. So this is just for career. If you just want to understand, you don't want to understand your personality and stuff, but you just want, what did I come to do here? So these are short sessions of half an hour that you can take, and they're cheaper. And so that's, I have relationship readings, so you can come and understand your relationship, how to bring harmony into your relationship, what are the gifts of your relationship, the challenges, how to work with them. And there are lots of, I don't know if I even listed all of it, but it's all in my website. On my website, there is a tab that is called readings, and you go there and you get all the information, and you can just schedule there, press the button, schedule, everything is automated.
I could talk to you for hours. Even just about, obviously, I like to understand myself and why I am the way I am, and why Jamie is the way she is. But I also I love astrology. It's always just been such a beautiful gift that we have access to. And the fact that it always seems to align is just, I'm always in awe. I'm always like, what? It doesn't surprise me, but it does. I love to be surprised, like pleasantly surprised. So it's one of those things where it's like, holy shit, yes, that makes sense. But the fact that you can just look at my birth date and time and basically tell me about my life, I'm like, what? That's crazy.
It's incredible. It really is. And it really shows us that we're so connected. There is something bigger, something greater. It's not just, it's not an accident that we had the life that we had, that we went through the challenges that we went through. I think this is the beauty of it at the end of the day, to understand that we were not a mistake. There is a reason why we are the way we are. And now how can we take it to the next level? How can we fine tune and be in the place where we really can feel that we are in love with who we are, which is a blessing. I know I lived almost 50 years before it happened to me, that I was like in a place that, wow, I really love this life. I'm so grateful to be here, really, honestly, not just faking it and trying to pretend, that really, really feeling that. So I want that for everyone. Everyone should feel that.
I agree. I am so grateful for you, Yael, and your time and your gift. And, I certainly would love to follow up. And I know Jamie would love to connect with your...
Yeah, I will send you the information for our team member that can do that, Sharon.
Yeah. And honestly, to all of our listeners, if this is something that you are interested in or just curious about, please, like, share, subscribe, learn more, follow Yael on Instagram, reach out, look at her readings, and just get to know, why you came here a little bit more, because that truly helps with your mental health. And it helps, when you understand yourself, the world starts to understand you, right? Because the world doesn't get to then shape you and determine who you are. And that's huge. So, don't leave yet. But listeners, thank you so much for listening today. I hope you got something out of it. I know it wasn't about your story, but at least it gets you curious into asking the questions, and gets you to know a little bit of the planets and houses a little bit better. So thank you.
If you think we're cool,
or even if you don't,
please like or subscribe so you'll stay up to date on all things The Shrink Show.
Thank you for choosing to spend a portion of your life with us. And remember, don't take yourself too seriously. Life is all a giant shrink show.
A Huda Media Production.
Side effects of listening to this podcast may include side aches or snorting from laughter, impromptu jazz hands, nodding in agreement even though you might be listening alone, an occasional "you said it, girl," and mild cases of existential dread. This podcast is strictly for entertainment and informative purposes only, and is not intended or implied to diagnose, treat, or otherwise substitute for professional mental health, medical, legal, or other advice. Thank you.
Unicorn says bye.